Good morning and welcome to Real Estate Economics weekly webinar series. Real Estate Economics is a leading provider of residential market consulting and online research tools. Every Wednesday at 9 a.m. we post to YouTube a webinar covering a different market area. It might be the nation, it might be an individual state or municipality down to a county level. Sometimes we address some special topics. Today we'll be presenting San Diego County. My name's John Mulville. At any time you can go to www.realestateeconomics.com and see the upcoming schedule for our weekly webinar series. Next week we'll be discussing the East Bay of California on June 23rd. The topics to be determined, and on June 30th it will be Fresno, California. Our weekly webinars can be seen at youtube.com. Enter Real Estate Economics, all spelled out. There will be the link to the weekly webinar. You can view any of the portions, start them and stop them at your discretion, see past editions, and repeat areas that you found interesting or skip the areas that you're not interested in. For today's webinar in San Diego County, we'd like to take a brief look at conditions on the ground in San Diego from 2006 through 2010. On the current slide is from our Housing Transactions Report product, which is available all the time on the Real Estate Economics website. On the Housing Transactions Report, you can select your own market area, whether it be state, county, city, zip code, define your own polygon, even drill down to an individual community if it's of sufficient size and scale. This data is from April 2006. Throughout the series, detached sales will be shown on the left, attached sales will be shown on the right. I think it's probably important that we set the stage for what's taking place in April 2006. It seems like a long time ago already. At that time, the national economy was performing quite well. Unemployment was low. Credit was readily available for businesses, home builders, and maybe a little too much credit for home buyers. At this particular point in time, conventional resales shown in blue make up about 76% of the market activity. New home sales in builder subdivisions or developments are about 19.3% of all the activity, a very healthy number, and foreclosures and foreclosure sales are very small at about 2% of the market activity. If you look at the detached side of the equation, the new builder sales are a much smaller percentage. They are about 9.8% of all the activity, as shown on the map on the left. If you look at condo sales, new builder activity is very robust at 34.8% of all sales. As we know, many of those were concentrated in the downtown area and in the high-rise market, which was really hitting its full peak at that point. High-rises were being built quite readily. There were speculators active in the market, which ultimately turned out to be a problem. Many people were buying 1 or 2 or 3 units in these different developments because the market appreciation had been so robust up to this point. But if we come forward a full year to April 2007, you can start to see some of the yellow foreclosure sales actually. The golden squares and dots are foreclosures. So now this the first signs of distress are really evident on the ground at this point and evident in the transaction data. You can see how the distress is dispersed. It's quite abundant in the Chula Vista area, Escondido, Oceanside, as many of those markets appreciated very rapidly in just a couple of years and have now at this point become quite overheated, and the credit issues are beginning to take hold. The economy is still generally good, so it's really a function of loan suitability problems and really putting people into homes that were far beyond their capabilities, and we'll talk to this more in later sections. By 2007, for both attached and detached products, conventional resales have dropped from about 76% the year before to just 64%. New builder activity is down from 19% to about 16%, and the foreclosures, which were just 2% in the previous year, have come all the way up to 12%. Let's come forward one more year to 2008, and you can see the situation becomes much more acute. Foreclosures at this point are now up to 30.5% of all the market activity, and foreclosure sales are lagging far behind at 21%. Lenders clearly don't have the internal processes in place at this time to handle their foreclosures. New builder sales have come all the way down from 19% in 06 to 7% here, and conventional resales, which at this point included very few short sales, are down from about 76% to just 40% of all the sales activity in this market. And again, if you consider this time frame, we still have not been through the credit crisis that really took hold later in 08. And aside from loan suitability problems, unemployment is just starting to rear its head, and conditions are just beginning to deteriorate on the economic front. Come forward one more full year to 2009. Resales are holding steady here, actually up a bit, about 46%, but the new builder sales are all the way down to 7.2%. Foreclosures 16%, and foreclosure sales jumping way up to 34.1%. Let's come all the way to 2010. This is current data, as current as we get it, and can process it and turn it into maps and the other array of products that we use this information for. By 2010, for just the month of April, conventional resales have jumped quite a bit to about 57% of all sales for both attached and detached product programs. This is really starting to include a large number of short sales. Lenders have eased this process and have begun approving many more short sales, since the returns to foreclosing and reselling the unit have not proven to be that great. As of April 2010, only 3.3% of the sales shown by the green dots are new home sales in builder subdivisions. Foreclosures are about 18%, and foreclosure sales are 21%. I'd like to talk briefly to the differences in the data from the attached programs to the detached. On the detached side, only 2.4% of all the sales are in new home subdivisions, and about 17% are foreclosures. Conventional sales have kicked way up, as we mentioned in the aggregate data, but it's specifically noted on the detached side of the market. On the attached side of the market, conventional resales have also kicked way up, not quite as high, 53%. New builder sales are stronger actually on the attached side at 5.1% of all sales, with foreclosures and foreclosure sales roughly equivalent at about 20% each. You can still see the pockets of distress, particularly on the detached side where the data is a little bit more intense. Escondido, Chula Vista, the central core areas are still abundantly distressed, and we see quite a bit of yellow and orange up in the Oceanside market. That's the end of part one. Please remember, if you want to see the entire presentation or view the entire series, there's 5 sets today, 5 pieces. Make sure you view all those, and we'll begin with part 2 in just a moment.